Do things ever happen to you guys that are either a mind-blowing coincidence that can't be explained or something that has to be divinely orchestrated? Because 3 different things happened to us all yesterday, and I have to tell somebody about it. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 mini stories. One's about a can of Dr. Pepper, one is about a Starlink setup, and one is about a couple that camped beside of us yesterday. Here we go. Okay, the Dr. Pepper one is simple and just funny. We traveled hundreds of miles and then opened our camper fridge yesterday, and an open can of Dr. Pepper was sitting there untouched. Hadn't spilled, hadn't moved, nothing. We had hit tons of bridges, potholes, curves, hundreds of miles, and that Dr. Pepper did not spill. Make it make sense. Okay, story number 2 is about the Starlink. So every single time we travel in the camper, we have to set up the Starlink for internet. We set up the Starlink the same way we always do, and it was giving poor connection. We unplugged and reset and rebooted our Starlink 4 or 5 times, still poor connection. I'm like, what's happening? So of course I start Googling right away because I'm thinking we're about to have to drop hundreds of dollars to replace this equipment. I was sweating it, I was stressed, it was a bad situation. After I've Googled multiple times, I come across a random Google link that directs me to Facebook, a Facebook group that I'm not in, and some random guy had posted that he was having the same issue, okay? Then, not even in that post, in the comments of that post, someone comments and says, try unplugging all of your cords. I done this the other day, and mine was a grain of sand, okay? A grain of sand was his issue for poor connection. So I tell Kaylee, we have to unplug everything. We have to check and make sure that there's nothing in any of our plugs. We unplugged the first power cord, and guess what was in there? In between 2 tiny little prongs in our power cord. A grain of sand. One singular grain of sand. So I pull it out, plug it in, works like a charm. Explain it. Make it make sense. Okay, and to wrap it up, the craziest of them all, story number 3, is about our neighbors yesterday at the campground and everything that came together with that. It's crazy. Okay, so for a little bit of backstory, yesterday morning, we woke up in the Garden State, New Jersey, and we were starting our trek back home to the Appalachian Mountains in Southwest Virginia. So, last minute, we found a campground in Edinburgh, Virginia called Creekside Campground, and it was exactly halfway from New Jersey to home. It was our halfway point, so we stopped there to spend the night, one night, just to sleep. Once we get set up, Kaylee starts chit-chatting with the neighbors who have California tags on their camper, and they just checked in also. So of course they're making small talk. They're both fishing off the riverbank, and that lady says, yeah, me and my husband are on a 4-week trip where we've been visiting all kinds of different states. We're from California. And Kaylee says, oh, how crazy. We are also on a big trip. We've been on the road since July the 12th, and we're visiting a bunch of different states too. We're from Virginia. So during this discussion, they're talking about all the different states that we've visited and that they've visited, and Kaylee says, what's the last state you guys were in before you came here? And the girl says, oh, New Jersey. Obviously, Kaylee's immediate response was like, wow, that's really weird. We just came from New Jersey too. So come to find out, where they were at and where we were at was only 53 minutes apart in New Jersey. So then Kaylee says, well, when did you guys get here? And she's like, oh, we just got here literally 20 minutes before you guys did. We just got set up. Okay, stick with me because it gets even better. So then she says, this is also just a halfway point for us. We're going to Bristol, Virginia, which is 5 hours from where we're at. And it's only, 40 minutes from where we live. And so obviously we were like, holy cow, that's crazy. We have literally followed you guys from New Jersey to this random little campground in the middle of nowhere in Edinburgh, Virginia. And then tomorrow, we're also going to pretty much geographically the same place again. Like, what's the likelihood? So anyways, long story short, things like this absolutely blow our minds, and it just kept happening yesterday. And it's all I can think about. I'm like, it's almost too much to be a coincidence. Was this divinely orchestrated? Like, there's just no explanation for it, but they were gone when we woke up this morning. We did throw out the Dr. Pepper, and our Starlink was still working as normal, so all is well.